Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of The Cloudy Vape. In this video we're going to be talking about the Goblin RTA by Youde Technologies. Before we dive down up close, let's have a little vape. There is great airflow and awesome vapor production out of this RTA, so without more yapping, let's dive down and check it out. This is just the basic box it comes in. Actually, it's a nice box. I'm always happy with Youde's box. Compared to other ones, it's very nice. You got the little slide type thing, and then you got a flap, of course. It gives you your basic instructions, just talks about it a little bit, and then of course this little pop out right here pops it out, keeps it nice and smooth, so that is cool. And then on the back you do have some wick and wire, I believe a few replacement screws, and also a blue screwdriver, I believe. The blue screwdriver is probably not in there. I just can't remember. Did it come with the blue screwdriver? Maybe, yes, no, maybe, perhaps. I think it's kind of irrelevant, but now I'm kind of confused because maybe I did have it. Anyways, let's keep going. Alright, so here is the Goblin up close. Basically, it is an RTA. It is a 22mm RTA. I believe it is 304 stainless steel. Don't quote me on that. It is stainless steel. I'm not sure if it's 304 though. I believe that's what I read. So let's look at the rest of this. You have a 510 connection for a drip tip. It does not come with the drip tip, just as a note. It actually is, I really enjoy this because it's in so few parts. You just have so few parts, very simple, and it does what it needs to do. The other cool thing right here is you have huge airflow on both sides, non-restricted airflow. It just goes all the way through. If you can see up close, the airflow goes all the way through, and then you have holes in there that goes up into the deck. So that is super awesome. Let's go ahead and start taking it apart and just check it out. So first off, you have a little top part right here. This is just one piece, has an O-ring to seal off that tank. Let's set that down. You have this. This is your little glass Pyrex. Very thick. Look how thick that is. Very, very nice. I haven't had any issues with it, almost cracking or anything like that. Also not sure about replacement or anything like that, but that is that. Let's look at the barrel. This is kind of the shell that goes over the deck right here, but this actually comes apart in two pieces. So let's look at this. You have a little shell. This goes right over the deck. This is the little top chimney part. Very smooth threads right there. Very nice. Let me pop it back together for you. It is smooth, but because they're so fine, you kind of just have to line it up perfectly. But once it's on, nice and smooth. You have a little O-ring right here to seal off the top of the tank. You also have some threading right here for the top of the tank also. So that is that. Very smooth in here. Very nice machining. Just top notch. Always impressed by Youde. Very, very affordable and very decent products. Very decent products. So let's look at the deck and everything else. So this does come apart in a few sections. This is basically your airflow control ring that just slips right off. And so you can adjust that airflow however you like. Wide open. You can tighten it up. Whatever you want to do. But that just slips off just like that. You also have another part right here that just slips right off, and that is just another area that seals the tank, and then here's your deck fully exposed. So this is just whatever you want to do with this as far as build goes. Very nice. We'll look at this a little bit more up close, but let's just check out this just so you know. This part is the bottom part for your tank. It has an O-ring to seal off your tank, of course, and then this just threads right into the bottom. So very smooth, very nice. Really no issues here. You got your Youde logo. And let's go ahead and look at the deck, because the deck is the most important. And of all these devices, decks are definitely the most important. So we have a center post, dual center post right here. You have your two negative posts, which are, it looks press fitted, I guess. It's not milled into it, but it's definitely, somehow it's connected in there. You also have two 3mm airflows coming straight up from the bottom of the deck, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. You also have, it looks like 3mm juice wells, at least cut off half of 3mm, if you know what I mean. They're basically drilled right at the half of the diameter. So you have 4 juice wells going down in there if you look closely. So you can fit a lot of cotton in there. and this thing just wicks like a champ. I have had no issues with it. I know I've used a few of the orchids, and this just blows it out of the water. Wicking is never an issue. Leaking is never an issue. And yeah, I'm so excited about this one. So let's keep looking at this. As far as the tops go, these are just small Phillips head screws. Very simple. No issues with that. They fit down nice and snug, and really nice on that. This center post right here doesn't really, not wiggly, not loose. So you have an O-ring right here on the bottom to seal off the bottom barrel part that goes to the tank. And then you also have an O-ring right here which seals off the actual airflow control. So that was that little ring I showed you that adjusts. That pops in just like that. So very ease of building. As far as the holes go on the post, very large for being such a small deck, if that makes any sense. One strand of 20 gauge in there. Not that you would need, because you don't really have much room. Most of these tanks you don't have much room, so 24 gauge, I would build some 24, 26 as a normal build in here. So let's check out the bottom of the deck. It says Goblin. It has a copper contact pin that is adjustable. You have your serial number. You also have where you fill your tank. This is the main spot to fill it. Unlike the Orchid, you cannot fill from the top as an option. That's not really the way to fill the Orchid, but that's an option. This is only filled from the bottom, so you just pop that out, fill your juice up in there, and that is that. And so, yeah, very smooth, very nice. The connection on here is absolutely awesome. No issues as far as quality goes, very smooth. So overall, it's just a work of art, and I'm really excited about it. And also these airflow in here, no leaking. That's the biggest thing I would have to point out. Very awesome, no leaking, and the airflow is just crazy. So if you're looking for a great volume vaping type tank, this is definitely in the market for being a competitor. So let's real quickly just pop it all back together just so you can get an idea of what it might look like. So what you would first do is you take it all apart, you would build it, put your build on, then you would put this little barrel on top of your deck. If I can get it right there. There we go. So main thing is, once you put this on, you want to make sure that there's room and you're not touching your coils to this shell right here. Then once that is done, you just pop on your little tiny chimney right here. Very small chimney, but it works. Definitely works. So that is that, just like that. And then you take your you would take your next piece, which is your ring that goes on the bottom. That would seal off right here. If I can line it up, there we go. That seals off right there. Next, you would take your Pyrex glass, pop that glass in, then take your top part, and that top part just screws right into the little chimney we screwed on. And that is that. It is all together. And then the last thing you need is your airflow control ring. So the airflow control ring just pops right on with the, actually it goes the other way. My bad, guys. So it goes the other way. And then your airflow control adjusts just like that. So a few things to note about the airflow. This is a 7 millimeters wide, 3 millimeters in height, and it is wide open. You have airflow on both sides. That is definitely nice. And I guess the only con I would say, it doesn't come with the drip tip. I mean, besides that, no big issues here, no leaks, no issues there. So yeah, I'm just loving this, and I'm just going to keep using it and see if I run into any problems, and I'll definitely update it in the description. So let's go back to FaceTime, vape on it, and talk about it just a little bit more. And we are back! Let's talk real quickly about the pros and cons, my personal opinion on these pros and cons. As far as pros go, awesome airflow, really ease of building, no leaking, the deck is just nice and smooth, no issues there. As far as cons go, the few things I do want to mention, on the actual screws that screw down, if you're using a smaller gauge wire, something like a 28 gauge or lower, the tops of the screws are kind of angled down, like the actual where the screws screw down in. It's hard to explain, but basically they kind of have a point at the tip of the screws. So sometimes if you don't get the wire in just right, it'll kind of slide to the side and won't make a firm connection. That's just if you're using super small gauged wire. So I would definitely recommend 24 gauge or 26 gauge with this device. So that's just one con. The other con, I don't know. I don't really have any other con. I feel bad not having a con because then I just feel like I'm glorifying this. So there has to be another con. Oh, the juice, definitely. So the juice capacity is probably my other con. Wish it was like a 5 mil or larger. It's about 3 mils, and that's kind of cutting it. I think it's a little shorter than 3 mils, but so it's a 3 mil tank, and I wish it was just a little bit bigger. So that's definitely a con. As far as anything else, I can't really say anything bad about this. Like I said, the pros really outweigh the cons because there's really no issues as far as actual machine work going on. The only real issues is if you're going to use a really small gauge wire. I have had a little bit of issue, but you might not have that issue. I just want to throw that out there. But as far as everything else, top notch. So kudos to Youde. Very good job on this. This is just massive airflow, and it just works very well. So without more yapping, let's just have a little vape, and then we'll sign off. So just so you know, I'm using a 50-50 blend just to see how it would wick with the 50-50 blend, and it wicks very nice. It also wicks with higher VG juices. Very much a pro on this. It definitely wicks, and it definitely does what it needs to do. As far as a build goes on this, I'm not going to do a build in this video. I will do that in a separate video, but if you want to build really quickly, definitely check out Ray Lowe's build. He did a great review, one of the first people to review this, and also a great build on this. So definitely check in the description box below. I'll put a link to Ray Lowe's video of this, and he has a small little build on it. But if you have any questions on building it, definitely ask in the comments below. I can give you some critique. I also can give you some pointers on what I did to make it work, and I will definitely have a more in-depth video coming out, so definitely keep an eye out on the channel for that. And yeah, that just wraps it up. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope it gave you a little insight on what's going on with this RTA. I'll put a link to a few different places. I personally got this from Youde. They sent it over, and I know there's a few retailers, US retailers, that got it going on. But one more time, thank you so much, Youde, for sending this out for review. Really enjoying this, and a build video will be coming out shortly. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. And if you want to know more about this device or where you can get it, look in the description box below. I'll put a link to it. And if you like my videos in general, please subscribe. And as always, stay classy and keep vaping.